Good evening. I'm Todd Foreman, and I'm the proud chairman of the board of Hope for Henry Foundation. And I'd like to welcome you to a night in with Hope for Henry. So, why am I dressed in pajamas tonight? I'm dressed in pajamas because I told everyone that this year's virtual event would be as good as last year's event. But that's not true. It's going to be even better because we can do it in our own home and we can even wear our pajamas. So that's why I'm wearing pajamas. I'm also wearing pajamas. Great time, and now I'm going to turn it over to Sherry.
Thank you, Todd. I'll tell you what, he is going to be bolting out of here because, like many of you, he's going to be enjoying a dinner from Rose's Luxury at his house. He's been like a bull in a pen, and he's ready to roar. So he'll be enjoying watching the show from home very shortly. I am Sherry, and I want to welcome you to a momentous undertaking. Hope for Henry, in the middle of a global pandemic, is still making a show as far as innovation is concerned. First, take a look at this event. They have completely spun it around, and instead of skipping this year, they said, no, the work that we do is too important. We absolutely are going to have an event. What you're enjoying right now is actually larger than the number of people that attended last year, which we're very excited about because we've got some big goals. And then secondly, they're being innovative in a way with their programs, and you're going to hear more about that in just a little bit. So although the format of our program this year has changed, I assure you that the focus has not. Hope for Henry is still, overarching goal is to serve every kid in a hospital in this country, making their hospital stay just a little bit more normal, making it just a little bit easier to get through. And so that is the challenge that we have tonight, and that is the cause that we're going to be championing. There's a couple of different ways that we're going to be doing that. First, we have got a spectacular online auction that is open until 10 p.m. So you can make your way to bid on those items. Everything will be closing at 10, although I am going to be telling you about a couple of the 3 items a little bit later because they're just that special. In addition, you can become part of our treasured community of support. We will be inviting donations a bit later as well. So with that, I should tell you how to register. If you look beneath me, you'll see that there is a website link that you can go to. You can register in that way. Perhaps you haven't done that yet if you're watching with friends, or maybe you've been getting some texts but haven't been paying too much attention to them. By all means, go ahead and click through on those texts. It will take you to the auction website as well as a donation page where you can make some donations as well. So again, format has changed, our focus has not. And if you want to meet someone who is undeterred in her focus, you've got to meet our founder, our CEO, our fearless leader. With that, let's turn this over to Lori Strongen.
One year ago, 400 of us gathered at Union Market to celebrate Hope for Henry's Sweet 16. If you had told me then that we would be celebrating our 17th birthday behind masks with fewer than 10 people in a room, I would have never believed you. But here we are. So celebrate we will.
So this video, which is narrated by Lori, talks about how she founded the organization and why and what the impact is that they have on these hospitals and what their growth trajectory has been and so forth. And so it's a really good, well done video. This group in particular has strong videos. In fact, I'll probably talk about that a little bit later when we're in the fund to need portion. And then when the video ends, she and I are both in front of the camera, and I don't really have a role to play, but she is thanking all the sponsors and underwriters. I look like a complete dork standing there, and as I was looking at the video recording later, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know where to look. And so that might be something as you think about your virtual gala. Where do you want people to stand and why? Like, why do they have a purpose in being in front of the camera? Because if they don't have a purpose in being in front of the camera, get them off the camera. They don't need to be there. So that's something that I've just learned. And from this, then we go into a toast.
I can tell you, Early Mountain makes really good wine.
Yes, they do. Lori was bragging about this before, and I didn't get a chance to taste it. This is great. Average cancer treatment for a child, though, is 3 years.
At this point, it was a segment where Lori and I went a little bit more back and forth. I started it out, but then I would pitch it to her to answer the questions. So we might talk about how many kids every day were diagnosed with cancer in the United States, how long that, well, I talked about how long the treatments were, that it's an average treatment of 3 years. And geez, you know, you're complaining about 7 months under COVID at this point. Those kids have 3 years of treatments that they're dealing with. You know, we talked about behavioral economics and so forth. So that went back and forth. And then from there, we started to go more into videos and to tell the story. So let's pick it up there.
So here's the thing, facts tell, but stories really sell it. So we want to introduce you to some of the patients that are receiving some of these programs right now. Please listen.
I had just mentioned that the average treatment is 3 years. That's really what this video focuses on and does a great job of bringing the patient voices to life. So from here, we're going to start moving into featuring some of what would traditionally be our live auction items, but of course they're being sold online now.
One way that you can champion for all these kids tonight is to participate in the auction. I mentioned earlier that we've got some spectacular items there. I have 3, though, that I've pulled out that I'd like to highlight with you right now. Now, you can continue to enjoy your beverages as you're watching the program. Don't forget that after the program is when we'll have our wine tastings and beer tastings and so forth, but you can drink some of those right now. So let me draw your attention here to 3 items. Number 1, the Robert Parker wine selection. I believe it's number 103 in the system. Famed wine critic Robert Parker, he popularized this whole 100-point scale for wine ratings when he launched the Wine Advocate, and he's an avid fan of Bordeaux, and that is exactly what is in this lot. There's been a lot that has been written about the famed 2009 vintage. The high bidder is going to win 5 different bottles from that 2009 Bordeaux. Each one scored a perfect 100 points from Robert Parker. You're also going to get a video from him where he explains his system for grading, and you're also going to get what I would call a letter of authenticity from each of the vineyards talking about the vintage and the wine itself. So again, last time I checked, the bid on that was $25.50. Not sure where it is right now, but that's, again, item 103. The second item, oh, you're going to like this one better than your money. This has been a repeat in our auction in past years. It is
I'll cut this portion out, but more or less I'm featuring the next 2 items. These all traditionally would have been live auction items, but not having a live auction. Again, they're being sold online. They're closing at 10 p.m. The third item in particular, a golf package, opening bid of $7,000. We did not have an opening bid when we started the broadcast. So my goal was to get a bid on that golf package, which we did. We ended up selling that. But this is just, again, encouraging people. They have 2 ways that they can make a bid. They can either use their browser window to go to a separate browser window, open it up through the link and bid, or they can use their phone because we are texting them to get them to engage in that way too.
Again, item 101, the summer solstice golf package. All of those items and the others that are already in the system, those are all going to close again at 10 o'clock tonight. You can register again using that link below, or if you're already registered, find the text that we've been sending out on your phone and you'll be able to go through. Now, I mentioned earlier that Hope for Henry has been working tirelessly on innovative programs, and they have a new one that they want to tell you about. So it's my pleasure to bring to our stage, a virtual stage you might say, Carolyn Fung, who is Director of National Programs, and please welcome back Lori Strongen.
So Carolyn, it's been quite a year.
Indeed.
We, I think, did probably what I would consider to be Hope for Henry's masterpiece.
This is really the start of the Fund a Need. We're really building the case. Well, we've been building the case, but this is kind of getting to the crux of it. They have just talked about this new program that they worked on all this past year. They released it. It's having great success already. Lori's talking about how it's the pinnacle of everything that they've done thus far. So now we're going to start moving into the Fund a Need next.
Yes, as Liz said, let's get super rewards for super kids into every hospital. We have hospitals that are lined up that want to get these programs. Let's face it, these kids are having scary, painful procedures, but when they are motivated through the Hope for Henry programs, they actually go through them. The parents are happier, they can see that the children are more pleased, and you've got the hospitals. Some of these particular procedures, it frees up the equipment so other patients can use it as well. That means it's a win for the patient, a win for the parents, a win for the doctors, and a win for the hospitals. Now, we we've got a really big event goal tonight of $400,000 is what we want to raise. And thanks to some incredible generosity already, we are well on our way. I am inviting you, though, to champion for these kids. I'm going to take you through some suggested levels of giving in a moment, but periodically we're going to drop in some stories about these amazing kids and families. So speaking of which, I think we're going to start here with an oncology nurse. Of all people, she spends a lot of time in the hospital. She knows the drill. She is going to tell you about her daughter. So her name is Rose.
Hope for Henry has so many of these, and they are 30 seconds to maybe 45 seconds long. Their patients, their parents, they're talking about why the Hope for Henry program is so great. You're going to see a lot of these through the Fund to Need as I kind of skip through it, because I don't think it's, I mean, you're not here to learn necessarily about Hope for Henry. You're here to learn about virtual galas. I'm just trying to show you the flow at this point so that you can get a sense of what might work for you. As we conclude this video from Rose, I'm going to start talking about that first level of giving. And then I'll probably speed through the other ones, but I just want you to kind of get a sense of how it is, because again, people are bidding online, and then maybe I'm seeing those donations as they come in, or I have some pre-commitments.
Can you imagine standing in a grocery store and you've got 20 people in front of you before you can check out? That's what Hope for Henry is dealing with all of these hospitals calling. 2 years ago, they were in 4 hospitals. Last year, 10 hospitals. They've grown to 13. They've got 10 more hospitals on deck for next year and 10 more beyond that. Right now, San Diego is wanting in. They're on deck. We've got a hospital in Memphis. We've got a hospital in Northern Virginia. We've got one in Denver as well. It takes about $10,000 to get the program rolling. We've got some incredible generosity that has already been given here, but if you push that $10,000 button, you can help get the program into a hospital. I want to thank some of these people that have already stepped up. We've been taking donations as we lead up to the gala itself, so I have to give some shout outs. We've had Abby and Andy are on the honor roll, given $25,000. MedStar Georgetown taking a big stand at 25 grand as well. We had Ed and Penelope. They just came in tonight at $20,000. Woohoo! Let's hear it for them. Champion up. Woo! Jeannie at $15,000. They are rocking and rolling along with Jamie Splum. Thank you. $10,000 to and also the Harbor Group and Quadrant Strategies as well, showing up at $10,000 here. Yep, I see the friends. We are able to take your donation right now. This is where the magic happens, is when you hit that donate button and champion your support for Hope for Henry. Let me talk a little bit here about a $5,000 leadership gift, what that kind of impact could be. We heard from Rose. We heard about her daughter, London.
Very similar to an in-person event, I am going through the different levels of giving. I'm talking about what that level could do if someone's inspired to give that amount, the kind of impact that they would have. And then along the way, we're playing videos of patients and parents who are talking about something that we thought might fit in nicely with that particular level. So maybe at the $1,000 level, we're talking about something that, you know, maybe a birthday party. I don't think the birthday parties are actually $1,000, but it's something tied to that. I'm also demonstrating what that Super Rewards for Super Kids program is, and since we heard about it in the videos, now I'm talking about it and showing how a child would use it and then how they would cash that in to get a prize off the rack. So that's all taking place right now, and then we'll pick this up here at the end where the Lori kind of comes back on and we start to wrap it up.
The donation platform, though, that we're doing right now is going to be open for a few more days. I'm seeing that we're up to $297,000 over that right now, just over $297,000. Come on, let's do this. We can get that. We can at least break 300,000. I feel like it's going to be coming here. For now, we're going to turn this back over to Lori for some remarks.
Lori comes on and more or less tells them, hey, great, you've been heating your food, because they got their food, but they didn't eat it. So they've been heating it while we had the gala. Now they're going to enjoy their food. They're going to watch the wine and beer videos, which are the pairings that have been mentioned. And then they get to watch this feature film, this premiere, a DC premiere of this movie. And then at 10 o'clock, of course, everything shuts down. All closed. Auction ends.
Friends, thank you for tuning in tonight, for making a difference for a homegrown charity in Washington, D.C. that is increasingly having a really big national impact. I've got a few closing remarks. There had been some questions about the wine and beer instructions. Please know that you have those on demand for the rest of the night. So if you want to take a break after this stream, maybe chit chat, and then go ahead and follow the instructions, you'll be able to participate in the tastings at that time. And the same would be true, of course, of the movie Dream Horse, starring Toni Collette and Damian Lewis. That's available as well anytime tonight, so you'll just have to press play on demand and you'll be able to watch that together as well. But as a reminder, the auction does close at 10, so if you're in the middle of the movie, keep that in mind. The auction closes at 10, but we're going to be leaving open the donation platform for a period of time. It has been a lot of fun being with you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. We appreciate you. Thank you and good night.